Hi Internet, let's start. Somewhere else during the year 1989, a then unknown guy was working at CERN, European Organization for Nuclear Research. You know, the Big Hadron Collider located in Geneva, Switzerland. Anyways, he developed something that would change the whole world. World Wide Web. Meet Tim Berners-Lee, an English computer scientist who basically created an information system where the users can be taken to different sites designated with a URL, which basically stands for Uniform Resource Locators, a site you type in which takes you to different internet locations. For example, like this one. That being said, or this being written, where did the bolognese sauce come from? Well, from Bologna, a cute city in Italy. The earliest record of this sauce is from the 18th century from a cook by the name of Alberto Alvisi, and the city is also known for the oldest university in the world, founded in the year 188. And if that wasn't enough, the city is also related to the famous University Bologna process. The process's goal is basically having the same university system in as many countries as possible, which makes students' lives a lot easier when transferring to different universities and comparing diplomas. The system was founded in the year 1988, on the 900th anniversary of the mentioned university. But let's go back to those sources. The bolognese sauce is obviously not enough, since Italians also made pesto, originating from Genoa. And we all know what mortar and pestle are, right? Well, pestle and pesto actually came from the same Italian word, pestare, meaning to crush. And by the way, that is where the words paste and pasta come from. You prepare pesto by pestling garlic, parmesan cheese, pine nuts, and basil with a pestle. Simple. And for the marinara sauce, we can thank the Italian sailors, marinai, who, when sailing the world, were preparing a mixture of mashed tomatoes, garlic, and basil, just what we today call a marinara sauce. But let's ask ourselves the real questions, like who the hell made the first pasta, and why is Italy so good with food? Well, it is believed that Marco Polo brought the pasta from Asia to Europe after his famous travels. That would also explain the similarity between pasta and the noodles prevalent in Asia. Although there is some evidence that Europeans made pasta-like food before Marco Polo, some historians also think that Arabs were the first ones to brought them to Europe. And when it comes to Asia and noodles, the oldest ones date back to 5,000 years ago, from China. And what about the good old pizza? Well, Mr. Raffaele Esposito is to thank here. There is actually a story that he made his invention when he heard that the Queen Margherita of Savoy, with her husband Umberto I, were coming to his hometown in 1889. So he basically put what he could find on a flat round piece of dough, with the goal of actually putting colors of the Italian flag on the thing. So basically tomato sauce, mozzarella, cheese and basil. And the pizza was born, named after the Queen Margherita. But pizza has a hidden father called focaccia, which is basically baked bread popular in Italy, and in Latin times it was called panis focatius, meaning, well, baked bread. Many soldiers ate the bread with olives, tomatoes, cheese, and whatever the hell they could have found. Pizza is actually just a little bit Germanic, since the Lombards, a Germanic tribe, brought it to Italy in the 6th century, but the name stands from Italian, insere, meaning to stomp. So it is a mixed baby, I guess? And speaking of Lombards, you know those big-ass letters at the beginning of every sentence in medieval texts? Yeah, those letters are actually called Lombardic capitals. Anyways, life without pizza is unimaginable, but the same goes for toilet paper. Well, the precursor to today's toilet paper was invented by a New York inventor, Jason Gaiety, in 1857, who sold the paper around the city and profited a bunch. It was basically one piece of paper rolled up and covered with aloe vera. So the toilet paper we use today came in 1935 and was made by the Northern Tissue Company. And toilet papers are an art form to themselves, since you have many different kinds. They range from 1 to 6 plies, and ply is basically a layer. And what about the toilet paper holder? Well, it was firstly patented in 1891 by Seth Wheeler. And yes, it shows that it goes over the top, okay? Get over it. And just like toilet paper, wiping your butt is also an art form, with many different variations and possibilities. In ancient Rome, for example, people used these sticks with sponges put on top of them to wipe their butts, and after use, the sponges were rinsed in a mixture of water and vinegar. And in ancient China and Japan, people just used sticks, to remove everything, so yeah. Okay, moving on. In the Middle Ages, the royalty used towels each time, which were cleaned by hand by someone, less fortunate. The peasants, well, they used what they could have found, pretty much leaves and irrigation. Of course, sometime later, bidets, lotters, and afterbaths were used, and I will let you use your imagination with these. Americans today rarely use bidets, an Italian invention dating back to 1726, unfortunately without a known inventor who simply invented this thing and just dipped, I guess. And then we go forwards in history to the toilet paper, where the word toilet actually comes from French toile, meaning a cloth or canvas. Just like the word canvas came from, this word I will not even dare to say, since I can anger the YouTube gods and can get a penalty. But the word penalty comes from Latin poena, meaning pain or suffering. Some penalties are painless and some are pain more. Some are less painless and some are more pain more. But if you ask the internet, stepping on a Lego is much more pain more. Before continuing, let's thank this man for inventing the Legos. Introducing Ole Clarke Christiansen, a Danish carpenter who founded the company in 1932, which will later become known in 1947 as the Lego Group. The name was coined as he shortened the Danish phrase "lek godt", meaning play well. And indeed he played well, and ended up in literally every toy shop today. Well played, Kirk. Well played. Wells are quite interesting. I mean, we just dug a hole into the ground, deep enough so that it touches groundwater or aquifers. And what are aquifers? Well, they are basically layers of underground rocks, which confine or hold groundwater, usually very deep under the ground. These water-filled spaces formed through the Ice Age in history and can go as deep as 9,000 meters into the ground. The oldest well found is located in Cyprus, dating back to around 10,000 BC, but that is a long time away from the first found socks dating back from 1500 BC in Jutland, Denmark, kept by the freezing cold weather, or the oldest found scissors dating back from 2000 BC in the Middle East, which were just two sword-like figures joined together, or the more important nail clippers, firstly designed in 1875 by Valentine Forgetry from Boston. Of course, we have the luxury today of using them, but back in the ancient days, people cut their nails with knives and whatnot, and the same thing went for shaving. The modern razors were invented in the year 1762 by Jean-Jacques Perret, and the first disposable blade was patented by King Camp Julet in 1904. And yes, that is where the name of the company comes from. Many archaeologists found that the Stone Age men used clams as pincettes for hair removal, like, ouch. And what about toothbrushes? Well, they were basically non-existent. Back in those days, people used wood sticks, for example in Asia bamboo sticks, by rubbing them on their teeth and removing the built-up layers of dirt. But the first toothbrush dates back to 1498 in China, where somebody quite crafty put coarse boar hairs on a bamboo stick and simply decided to clean his mouth with it. And the first ever nylon modern toothbrush was created in 1938 by an American company, DuPont. So the similar story goes for flossing as well. The pastime activity was born in 1815 in New Orleans by a dentist named Levi Palmley, who encouraged his patients to use a silk thread to clean the space between their teeth, which brought in cash and profit, just like the good old Kirk with Legos, Well played indeed. Anyways guys, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Ciao!